Hey, kids. You're listening to the internet's wettest podcast about video games, consoles, and pancakes. The SML Podcast.
Prepare for the SML Podcast.
What's up, everybody? This is the SML Podcast. I am your host, Joe. Joining as usual, we've got Jacob, Aki, and Bree. How's everyone doing?
Hi.
I'm doing fantastic.
I may be drunk by the end of the episode.
Really? Why? What are you drinking?
I have a mason jar full of wine, so.
Yeah.
Fancy.
Indeed.
Redneck
It's
fancy.
Flavor.
It's a nice pink rosé, because, you know, I'm a fancy bitch like that.
I thought it was like moonshine in a jar, but it really is just wine.
No, it really is wine.
Wow.
Yeah. I've had moonshine. Well, I've had, like, the manufactured moonshine, but I've also had real moonshine. Not really a fan of it. Like, it's like, I get it, but nah, not my bag.
I don't think anyone's really a fan of moonshine. They're a fan of getting drunk
Yeah, it's
really fast.
It's not the journey; it's the destination.
That's fair.
So
Well,
anyway, I feel like poops because I think I'm getting sick, and I think that means that my concert trip next week is off. So yeah,
That sucks.
I have the weekend to figure my shit out, and by figure my shit out, I mean find out if I have COVID or not. So far testing negative, but I'm also concerned, like, is it a possible new strain, or is it something else completely unrelated that is still something I shouldn't be traveling while having?
I mean, maybe it's just like a stomach virus. Like,
Oh no, it's more than stomach. It's throat, nausea, eyes are scratchy, headache, like no fever yet, shockingly, that I could tell. But yeah, I don't feel great. And I'm really pissed that this is happening right before my fucking concert. So the good news is we're still taking next week off.
Yeah. I mean, if something's going to go wrong, it's always when you're going to take time off, because suddenly you have a lot less stress, and that's when you're going to get sick.
Yeah. The last time I got really
isn't it
sick,
more stress makes you sick?
Nope.
Really?
I don't think you're qualified to be a doctor, Aki.
No. The stress hormones actually keep you from getting sick because your body's constantly fighting against being overstressed, which helps prevent you from being sick. And then when you go on vacation or something, suddenly your body isn't fighting off all that stress, so it doesn't fight off anything else either because it's been overworked.
I don't know how that works.
I'm
I'm going to look that up. I'm going to look that up now.
Go right ahead.
Okay. I mean, I will. I mean, our listeners aren't going to be able to hear me, like, you know, doing medical research over here, but, you know,
I wish we had medical music to play, like just like intense dramatic music while you're scouring your medical textbooks.
But yeah, other than that, I finally got my AC and furnace fixed. So,
Yay.
replaced.
Yay.
Yeah, and it cost me nothing. It's fantastic.
yay. Wait, was that were they supposed to happen at the same time, or
Yeah,
do you have like an AC unit and a furnace?
I have a unit of each.
Oh, okay. So, all right. So what? I'll bite. Why did they get fixed?
They got replaced because they were old and broken.
Oh.
My AC stopped working this summer, just outright.
Wait, before summer, and it's just getting fixed?
No, it broke during summer before it ended, and yeah, it's just now getting fixed. It's been broke since mid-July, I think. It was not a good summer. I did not enjoy this at all. It was misery.
I mean, we have talked about this, Jacob.
Yeah,
We
numerous times on the podcast.
Yeah, I know, but you know how much I listen to Aki.
True, fair enough. But yeah, so those got replaced yesterday, and it's great. I'm very happy.
Cool. Bree, how's things with you?
It has been a fairly uneventful week. Yay, uneventful.
Yay, uneventful.
Yay, uneventful.
You wish yours had been uneventful, but
Like Ashley, she came home from work. She's like, "You're not going to be happy." I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "So I went to work last night, and one of our doctors, he was in Israel doing some on location stuff, and he was hacking up a lung and coughing, and he said his throat was sore and everything else, and he had a mask on, but he was still coughing like crazy. And now my throat's sore, and I'm sure your throat's going to be sore in a few hours." So
Cool.
So someone who was sick and shouldn't have gone to work was sick and went to work. Yeah, other people sick. So thanks, dude. Thanks, dude.
It's how America runs, or lack thereof.
I thought it was on Duncan.
I was going to say on Duncan.
This is like a super weird thing, but almost 2 years later, I met my roommate's like former coworker, the one that gave him COVID in the first place, and the dude like apologized to me. It was the first time I'd ever met him, and I was like, how do I reply? I like, it was just like I had to be polite, but I was like, dude, like the last year and a half of my life has been hell. Thanks for that like half-hearted apology. You didn't what?
What you do is you let metal pot meet fleshy balls and a few times. That's
so awkward.
Yeah, say that on a recording that could be admissible in court.
I know,
Good idea.
I'm telling her what she should have done, not what
I should do. Yeah, no. I was just like, yeah, nice to meet you too. Thanks.
You know what everyone should be doing?
Giving me all their money?
No, they should. First off, they should be giving me all their money. No, they should be buying shirts. Our merch is dope. Y'all should be playing Game Pass, because a bunch of games got added to Game Pass this week. A bunch more are coming. Let's get into the news. Sound good?
Sure. Yeah. Do this.
So, available this week on Game Pass, we got Headbangers Rhythm Royale, Jusant, War Tales, and Thirsty Suitors.
2 games I'm really excited to try.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Thirsty Suitors for sure.
Someone's excited.
It's that one in Jusant for me.
Why Jusant, or however you say it?
Because it just looks cute. You're basically just climb the side of a mountain, and it just, I don't know. I just like it.
Wait, I think I might have seen a preview for it. It's like one of those like relaxing games, right?
Yeah.
Probably.
Like a strong narrative, I believe.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I think I saw that one. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it too then.
I want to try Headbangers. That one looks fun.
That one's right up your alley, Joe. You will love that game.
Rhythm game, online, royale, party. It looks fun. I gotta find some time to try. The pigeons, I love the pigeons.
So
this looks adorable. And War Tales looks like it's pretty fun too. But I don't know if I have the time to invest in something as meaty as War Tales right now.
I don't know which one that is off the top of my head. I have to go look.
Anyway, next week, more games joining Game Pass. November 6th, Football Manager 2024 and Football Manager 2024 Console Edition are both joining Game Pass. What are y'all thoughts on that?
Woo.
Those games exist.
Just woo.
Yay, Football Manager.
Yay for fans. Yes.
November 9th is a little better. 3 more games. Dungeons 4 is launching right to Game Pass.
Okay.
Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name, launching right to Game Pass.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wild Hearts is joining EA Play.
Oh, yeah.
That's not surprising. I mean, and who knows? Maybe it'll find an audience on there.
It'd be nice. It's a gorgeous game. It just had issues.
Yeah, I dug it. I mean, the only thing I could really see is that fans of Monster Hunter may just look at it and just be like, well, Monster Hunter already does everything I already want, so why check this out?
But this one, the monsters are cuter.
I mean, so's Pokemon.
This is true. But you don't get to hit Pokemon with big sticks. So, I mean...
Depending on how you play it, you know.
Well, there are a bunch of different Pokemon games, so... November 13th, Spirity is joining. I don't know much about this one.
I don't think I've heard of that one at all.
Yeah, not familiar.
Spirit and then TEA. Like a spiritual tea serving. I don't know much about it. That one it never really caught my eye.
Sounds like it'll be good.
I was hoping someone else would have known about it.
No. No, we don't ever look up anything, Joe.
Life sim and management game. That actually looks like something I might play.
Does it look like Coffee Talks?
No, it looks more like Stardew, but involving tea.
You can has it.
But I like the management aspect, potentially. If it's on Game Pass, I'll try it for free. Yay!
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 It exists.
Yay!
And then November 14th, Coral Island is joining Game Pass for Cloud and Series X and S.
Haven't heard of that one either.
Yeah, it is apparently available now on PC. And, on the 14th, it'll hit Series X and S and cloud gaming. That is, it says, invites players to be who they want and experience enchanting island living at their own pace, living off the land, nurturing animals, building relationships with a diverse cast of townsfolk, making the world around them a more vital and harmonious place.
I really like its visual design. It's very cute looking. And that's about as far as I go.
It's all the stuff joining Game Pass. A lot of stuff. It's a big month.
Yeah. Now tell us the depressing stuff about what all's leaving.
Yeah, a bunch of games are leaving too. Coffee Talk is leaving.
That's a shame. It's
such a what?
Good game.
Yeah, you guys keep talking into the mic.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, there you go. Exapunks is leaving PC Game Pass. Ghost Song, Gungrave Gore, 24 is joining, so Football Manager 2023 and Console 2023 are both leaving. Lapin and Townscaper.
Couple good games are going away. That's a shame.
Townscaper, I believe, is only a $5 game, so if you don't already own it, pick it up.
It's a very quick one to go through as well. Yeah. It was very cute.
That's some good stuff. So overall, solid month for Game Pass. Some good stuff is leaving, but I think we're getting better stuff added than leaving this month.
Yeah.
We still have a whole other half of the month to be announced in 2 weeks. So, PlayStation Plus games for the month were announced, and people are not too pleased with them.
Really?
They're getting Mafia 2 Definitive Edition. They're not happy it's a remake of a 13-year-old game that's still only a PS4 game. Dragon Ball The Breakers, which again, just a PS4 game, and it's not a very alive games as a service game. And Aliens Fireteam Elite for PS4 and PS5, which another online focused game that doesn't have much of an audience.
I'm not gonna lie, I totally forgot that Dragon Ball The Breakers game came out. Like, I was excited, and we never got a review copy, and then I just kind of forgot about it, and until now.
Sounds like everyone else did too, so, you know.
Yeah. I heard the Aliens game is good, though. The Breakers game I heard was but I thought it sounded interesting.
Well, if you get a PS4, you could try it.
I'm not getting a PS4 just for that.
Well, if you do,
I
PlayStation Plus.
I'm not going to do that.
Totally didn't get a price increase recently. A lot of people aren't happy about them giving games that are totally subpar. Whatever. Free's free, I guess. Nintendo Switch Online announced some updates. The Nintendo got Mysterious Murasame Castle and Devil World, which is a very, very early Miyamoto title that never got an actual North American release.
Nice.
So is it is it just there for you to play, or do they actually localize this stuff?
No, that's just there to play. Yeah, it was, I believe it was on Virtual Console on the Wii back when. but it was never like, I don't think there's any text to localize in that game.
Oh, okay. Well, that works then.
And then Castlevania Legends for Game Boy. So pretty good month there for Nintendo Switch Online. Some big news out of Microsoft. They are cracking down on unlicensed controllers and adapters on Xbox, with a warning popping up warning the consumer that they have 2 weeks to use the device before it is blocked. Microsoft claims it is for safety and security reasons.
Bullshit.
But a lot of people aren't happy with this news.
Yeah, it pisses me off.
Is yours one of the affected controllers?
No, thankfully not. But I know once this controller dies, the next one I go for, would have went for probably would have been, because I usually get at-play controllers, which are the really cheap, shitty, like $20 wired controllers.
I mean, they still have like
it doesn't affect wired
$25 Power A controllers.
Yeah, it doesn't affect wired controllers. It's only affecting wireless, from what I had read.
No, it affects any unlicensed controller.
I'm gonna check on that because I had read that it was unlicensed wireless.
Yeah, I don't even know who is licensed.
That's the thing. There are no licensed wireless controllers. Microsoft has it locked down. People are using Brook adapters and Zims and Cronus Maxes, and I think that's what they're going after on this. I know Root Beer is pissed off because it affects using adapters like that, like use PS4 controllers on Xbox.
Yeah, but they've also said that it's not going to affect it if you have it plugged into the adaptive controller thing, which of course means that you now have to buy an adaptive controller. So
yeah, that doesn't mean it'll work on the adaptive controller though. That's a whole different. Like the adaptive controllers, true. Like the handy capable, accessible.
Yeah. No,
the different gadgets and cool things you could get to hook up to it.
Yeah, but I had read that like you would still be able to plug stuff into that. This thing's a mess.
I just don't like how greedy they are. Because that's clearly what this is. It's we want you to buy our controllers, not other controllers, because we can charge you $60 for it.
If they didn't license out their tech to like 30 accessory manufacturers already, I would agree with that. But they are licensing out to pretty much anyone.
Yeah, so I have like Power A's and other companies like that I have some controllers for.
Yeah, the vast majority of third-party controllers will still work because Microsoft, they license most of them. It's just like the cheap shit you find at flea markets. They're not going to work anymore. The ones that don't have company logos on them and the buttons feel like they came out of an NES controller.
Definitely something to keep an eye on as that patch rolls out and see what things vanish.
Yeah, hopefully it gets rid of the bad stuff. Hopefully they find a way to keep the good stuff still working. Yeah. I know accessibility has a lot of reasons to use other platform controllers, and fighting game communities and shmup communities love using arcade sticks, and a lot of those aren't necessarily licensed. So there's definitely downsides to this, but hopefully this means we see more licensed controllers coming along.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised. My fighting stick hasn't gotten any pop-ups for it yet. When's
the last time you plugged it in?
It's plugged in right now. I've been playing all week just waiting for it to pop up because I'm like, this thing's fucking ancient. So I'm like, there's no way this is fucking licensed. And so far I haven't had a pop-up, which is nice because this thing acts as my turbo controller for me because I need that for some games.
I don't know. Anyway, some big news. Atari is acquiring Digital Eclipse. Yeah.
That's not surprising, but interesting.
So our friend Micah getting that payout. Good job. Congrats to him. I miss that guy. It's been way too long since we've talked. Got to get him on here again somehow. He's so busy actually like being important now.
Well, tell him to stop that.
Maybe now that he's selling his company, he'll have time. He could go on vacation and just be like, fuck it, I could do podcasts that no one listens to again. In additional acquisition news, Devolver Digital acquired System Era, the developers of Astroneer.
I don't know that game.
The space game.
Yeah, I've played it.
Anvil Vault Breaker is shutting down December 31st. It will be fully unplayable from that date. Sales will end for the game November 30th.
Mm-hmm.
That sucks because I like that one. That was fun.
Well, that's a Game Pass game though, right?
It might be, or it might have been. I'm not entirely sure, but
Because I was curious.
It's gone.
Well, right, but I mean, like, if it's on Game Pass, like, I wonder if they'll just leave it up till the very end, or what.
I know. I do not know. I do know that Warface Breakout is also shutting down on April 30th. Mm-hmm. The game also will be fully unplayable from that date. I believe that was a Games with Gold title, wasn't it?
That might have been. Or at least one that we were given for free or something like that.
I don't know. More bad news.
Also, that reminds me about the Anvil thing. If I remember correctly, it's being delisted due to a licensing disagreement, isn't it?
I don't know.
Because it's either that or
it might have been a licensing thing, but I don't know if there's any confirmation on it. Look it up.
Because I remember it's either that or Warface. One of them, they're being delisted because like they just couldn't come to a compromise on the license, and like if we can bring it back one day, we will, or some crap. But of course, that's not likely. Probably.
I don't know, but let's keep the bad news going. Bungie has delayed Marathon to 2025 amid reports of the game flopping during internal playtesting. They also laid off some workers as well. Reports state about 8% of the staff, totaling around 100 people, were laid off, and the decisions apparently came from upper management. And there was some reports that it affected stocks shares. I don't know all the details on that, but it sounds like if people got offed before a certain date, they lost their stock shares, and seems to be what was happening.
Oh, that's kind of shitty.
That's real shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I had heard about the Marathon thing. Apparently, they got a bunch of streamers who play Escape. What is it? Escape from Tarkov or whatever it's called. They had a bunch of them as like a focus group for it. Had them play it, and we're like, so who really enjoyed it? And crickets. Who would buy
this tomorrow? And no one raised their hand.
Right, yeah, nobody raised their hands. And it's just like, oh, whoa, how crazy that, survival extraction shooter that, has no relation whatsoever to the original Marathon IP. And, how amazing that this would fail. It's almost like nobody asked for it.
Yeah.
That's always the case, though.
All right, choose your own adventure time. Should we switch to some good news or keep the bad news going?
Bad news.
Twitch app for Switch will be removed in January. How's that for some devastating news?
Hold on, wait, what?
Exactly. You didn't even know it existed, did you?
I didn't hear what you said.
The Twitch app for Switch.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Again, that app
I didn't
totally
even know it was
existed.
on there. Yeah.
God, what a shame.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry for the 3 people that affects. My heart goes out to you.
There were some people who reported that they used it frequently, and it was fucking awful. It crashed constantly. It didn't run well. Low frames, quality issues. So looks like they're just mercy killing this one.
Yeah.
Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5, and Battlefront 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2, are ending support on Windows 7, 8, and 8.1 on November 30th.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That Battlefront 2 has been out since 2015. Holy shit.
Microsoft doesn't support older versions of their, software, so why would anybody else?
Yeah.
Wait,
they're talking about the current, EA's Battle.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Never mind. Yeah. Okay. Because I was just like,
these are the
they're
new
not
ones.
talking about not the old ass Battlefront 2. Holy shit. Okay.
All right, let's switch to the good news. God of War and the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection are going to be hitting GOG.
Awesome.
Get some
I didn't
DRM-free
realize-
Sony goodness.
I didn't realize they weren't on GOG already. Honestly, I kind of figured they'd been on there for a while. Huh.
Oh, they're
Cool.
coming though. So, also coming along, Baldur's Gate 3 Watch. We could have this instead of the Sonic Movie Watch. Baldur's Gate 3 Watch. The game is being actively play tested on Xbox. Is still on schedule to release this year, although there is still no release date.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's happening.
I'm so excited. And it makes sense because recently there was a patch for it that just came out on Steam that added better controller support. So
Yay. I mean, it should have good controller support. It's on PlayStation.
apparently that was very hard to get it working right for Steam or something. I guess I don't know.
Anyway, last bit of news I have is Rollerdrome from Roll7, the devs of Ollie Ollie and Not a Hero, is coming to Series X and S and Windows Store November 28th, also available as Xbox Game Pass.
Cool.
Ooh.
So there you go. That's the news I got. Aki, what kind of news do you have?
None. It's me.
Thimber's saying that it's
okay.
rumored that December 5th is looking to be Baldur's Gate, which I could see that happening.
Cool.
Bree, what kind of news do you have?
You hit almost everything on my list, but I'm betting if I go to the last piece of news on my list, I'm going to take it away from Jacob. So
Do it.
Do it.
Did Jacob? Did you hear the news about Disney Dreamlight Valley's pay model?
Okay, yeah.
Oh my god!
that's
Did I hear
definitely
about it?
stealing
You
it.
mean was Disney Dreamlight Valley the first time that Jacob ever sat down to watch a fucking showcase of literally anything? Yes, of course. But don't worry,
Well,
Bree.
tell us about it.
Well, all right. So, Bree, I'll let you actually discuss the paid format first if you want to move
Oh
on
no,
to that.
it's really okay. That was the only other thing I had in here in case somehow you hadn't seen that they were going to a pay model. But please, by all means, other than I have it in front of me.
All right. So, pretty much what's happening is that December 5th, Disney Dreamlight Valley is moving away from its current model. It's leaving early access, and that means that they're going to stop selling the Founders Edition, that cozy edition thing that you see out there, that you will see out there for the physical edition. That's going to be like how it's being sold, and I forget what exactly like the newer combo thing is. And so what that means for everybody is that as long as you hop in like before the beginning of December, you like no matter what, you will get all the crap from the cozy pack and some other stuff that you would get just
some
for
info on what's available in the editions. I have the table pulled up.
Okay. I mean, if you want to rattle it off, that's fine.
Yeah, the base digital edition is going to be $39.99 and includes I believe 6,000 moonstones. That's 8,000 moonstones.
Mm-hmm.
The cozy edition is the physical version, which includes a house skin, some companion skins, a sweater, an actual physical poster and sticker sheet, 1,400 moonstones, and the actual game on disc. Unless you get it on Switch, then you get a code.
Which to interrupt, if you do already have one of the Founders packs, you will get all the stuff all the digital stuff from the cozy pack or the cozy edition. You literally will be getting everything. There was some discussion on that earlier, but they've confirmed it.
Nice. And then they will have the gold edition, which is digital, includes the expansion pass, 15,000 moonstones, a capybara companion avatar costume, and a house style.
Which I believe we're also already getting that, or it comes with a Rift in Time expansion. That one I'm not too sure. But so they announced new characters. We're getting Tiana next year, like next summer, from Princess and the Frog. We're getting Ava or Eva from Wally, Rapunzel from Tangled, Gaston from Beauty and the Beast, Mike and Scully from Monsters Inc., and I feel like I'm leaving somebody out. Bree, am I leaving somebody out?
I
You have
didn't
no
see
idea.
that part of it. I just
Oh,
saw
dang.
that people, were upset
We're going
because
nuts.
they had originally promised that it was going to be like a free-to-play model with some expansions that you could purchase, but now they've changed their mind. So
Yeah, which we can get into that in a sec. I'll just keep rattling off all the other shit that they announced. So we're gonna get our first paid expansion. It's called A Rift in Time, and this one sees a whole new land for you to explore and build stuff on, and add on different houses and stuff. And we find out that Jafar has fucked up everything, he was doing some sort of experiments, and what it did is that it messed up space-time in that whole area. And so when you get this expansion, you're going to be able to get a new tool, which is some sort of hourglass staff looking thing, and it's going to be able to affect time in the areas that you walk around in. And so certain areas that are like in ruins, you'll be able to use like your little time wand to to rebuild stuff as it needs to be. There's also going to be treasures that you can like pull out of time, and other stuff. There's going to be new animal companions. Monkeys were seen, as well as the capybara. And they said that there's other stuff that they haven't announced with that. All new recipes, all new items, like new stuff to mine, gather, forage, whatever you want to call it, fish, all that kind of stuff. And of course, more stuff to buy. And the other thing that they were talking about with it is how they're eventually going to be rolling out multiplayer. And with the multiplayer, it seems like it's going to be more along the lines of Animal Crossing, as in you'll be able to go into your friend's thing and see like what they've done. You'll be able to, I think, go on or at least like assist with some of the missions. I don't know if there's going to be like anything for duos to work together on. And you're going to be able to provide items. Like, let's say that your friend needs like 50 pieces of gold or something like that for a crafting item. You're actually going to be able to help out your friend and give them that item if you have it on hand and all that other kind of stuff. Which my thing was that I was curious about, which they didn't touch on, is like, can your friend like steal your shit? Because I'm thinking back to my kids, and my youngest has a tendency of walking into everyone's houses in Animal Crossing, or everyone's islands in Animal Crossing, and chopping down all the trees, because that's the easiest way to get fruit, apparently, or something.
Wow.
Yeah, no, my youngest is a dick with Animal Crossing. He'll just ruin he'll just straight up like walk in, take anything that he needs, and he'll just ruin your island. And I'm kind of curious if that's going to be happening with Disney Dreamlight Valley. I don't foresee it, but because they didn't say like your friends could put buildings in new places or whatever. It just seems like you're able to hang out. But one of the features I thought was really neat was that so in Disney Dreamlight Valley, Scrooge McDuck has a store in the valley, and you upgrade it during the game as you have more money. And with upgrading it, you're allowed to buy more and varied products. And what's kind of cool about this multiplayer aspect is that if Scrooge doesn't have anything that you want to buy in your little island area, you could go over to your friend's valley and see if Scrooge over there has like a different assortment of anything that you want to get there. I thought that was kind of cool, because then you don't you're not at the mercy of like waiting for something to come again, which could it could be like a month before something shows up in his shop again. It's a very real possibility. So I like that they're adding that. But yeah, I think that's everything that they announced. Also, you can buy the soundtrack on iTunes now.
I do have to issue a quick correction about the content that's included with what. The Cozy Edition is not included with current Founder stuff. You're getting the Gold Edition content, not the Cozy. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Like, what, when the Cozy Edition releases?
Based on their chart here, the Flowery Capybara Animal Companion, the Flowery Summer Cottage Home Style, and the Artist Overalls Avatar Costume will be digital rewards given free to Founders. Those are not marked the same way for the Cozy Edition. This is right off their site. So unless something like changed in between there and they didn't update their graphic, the Cozy Edition content looks to be exclusive to the Cozy Edition.
I don't think that's what they said during the thing, but
I'm reading it right off the site.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. No. I'm
so you
saying,
can suck my dick, Jacob. No.
Like, I'm pretty sure that yesterday they said that we would be getting it, so I don't know. We better fucking get it. I swear to God.
You need that Cheshire Cat sweater.
I need
that Cheshire Cat sweater.
What the fuck is sweater?
No, like, seriously, like, my youngest, like, got so damn excited when I was like, oh yeah, there's also going to be a capybara in it. And, like, Saus is like, what?
Yeah, you're getting a capybara.
Yeah, like, what's not to like?
And 2,500 moonstones.
Also, that's another thing too. Disney Dreamlight Valley is coming to Apple Arcade, so you're going to be able to play it on iPhone, iPad, MacBook, whatever.
So more platforms to not play it on. Okay, got it.
Are you nuts? My kids were like, "Oh hell yeah!" Like, yeah, they're excited. They finally fired it up. So now that it's coming to Apple Arcade, they were like, "Oh, maybe we should finally figure out what this game that Dad spends all of his free time on." You know.
Now they could play it on their own without you hogging the TV all the time.
I have a feeling that if
anything, can we play, please?
No. I have to complete this mission for the Beast.
You are the Beast, Dad. What did you say? Anyway, any other news?
Wait. Oh, Bree, you said you didn't have any other news, right?
No, that was my entire last bit of news.
Shit.
To just pass it over to you. It's good.
Okay. Let me see.
Helpful. Doing really good.
Hey, you know what? I'm scrolling as quickly as I can. Oh, the Halo Infinite marketed Mountain Dew Game Fuel Citrus Cherry is now showing up in stores. In case you needed
there's
that.
a Mystic Punch as well, a purple one.
Ooh, is that also Halo related?
I mean, there's a Halo, well, not just Halo, there's an Xbox program going on with Mountain Dew, Doritos, and Rockstar, where you enter codes. Your first code gets you a free month of Game Pass for new subscribers only, obviously. And then as you bank codes, you can enter, I believe, 5 or 15 from each brand each day, something like that. And as you save them up, you can cash them in to get like game codes and currency codes and DLC stuff.
Oh, shit.
I got a Doritos avatar outfit for my guy in Forza.
Nice.
Yeah.
The only other bit of news I have is that the Five Nights at Freddy's movie came out. And despite lukewarm reviews, it pulled in $39.4 million on its opening day. And I think it totaled out at like 80 million or thereabouts for opening weekend. So not a bad haul, especially since it only cost 20 million to make.
Yeah.
That goes to show you what you get when you pick a property that's popular and say, we'll do something with it. I don't know.
Pernell.
I know, right? You take a property like Pernell and you do something with it, and bam, $40 million in sales. Just saying. Just anybody to pick up on that. Make the Pernell movie. I'll even sign off on it.
I would watch the shit out of the Pernell movie. It would be the most disjointed, like, random
Origin
movie of all
story.
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
but you know what? I'd watch all 5 hours of it.
Be a long ass origin story. It all started when I was born. I was born to parents in a house. It was something, right? I don't know. So we need to get a writer on this because I'm not a writer. I'm just a talker. We gotta get a writer on this. But I'm
No,
ready.
we don't need a writer. It's just going to be stream of consciousness, and then we're going to film in actors, kind of like Drunk History after the fact.
Yeah. It'd be like a shadow cast, just like we can Rocky Horror this up like massively. There'll be
Ooh.
kazoos and bubbles. Let's do it.
I like the way you guys think. We can make this happen. I'm ready.
I'm sorry, Pernell. I've just been informed that Hollywood says that they won't make it unless Scarlett Johansson plays you.
Oh, again.
I'll take it. I'll take it. It's okay. She can make it work. She can make it work. She'll find a way. Scarlett can do that thing. Like, Pernell, you've got
what's going on in your world?
Well, in the process of trying to change jobs, and as a result, going for all my medical craps before my insurance cuts. Even though it doesn't really cut, it's more like I don't want to have to deal with the time off at a new place. I was like, hey, I'm not coming into the office right now because I got to get my blood drawn and I got to pee into a cup, and I also got to get my kidney scan, and all these things are being done in like 3 days. So it's been interesting. It's like stacking up all your medical treatment into a stand of like 1 week, and I've been doing that, and of course video games, and trying to get back into exercising because due to like all the recent changes, I haven't been going to the gym as much as I'd like to, but I'm doing that up again, and I'm actually in a video at a board game rule book, which makes me very happy. It's almost like someone said, hey.
I saw that. That's really cool.
I was like, wait a minute. I was teasing. I was like, hey, way to not include me in your rule book after all that input. And he's like, look here, you asshole. Look at this page here. And I was like, wait a minute. I was just joking. I think you were actually going to do it. But like, it was really nice. It made me smile. I was like, oh, wow. I'm actually in a rule book. It's not I have to get the game because I can be like, look, that's me. I'm right there. And it's because I do a lot of like play testing for people and like giving feedback on their games. And sometimes it actually ends up in the final game. It's like, oh, wait a minute, this guy suggested we add this element to the game, and it changed things up quite a bit. It became popular. Let's use it. And then I was like, ooh, I like that. And sometimes someone will go, what the hell are you talking about? That input sucks. And I go, hey, whatever. I'm just having fun. Whatever. Where's my beer? And that's fun, too.
That's the one where you're listed as a playtester. All right. I wasn't sure if that was a board game or a video game. All right. That's still cool as hell.
It would be interesting if I came across a video game like that. First of all, I got to figure out why I'd even fit to be in a video game rule book. Like, hey, that guy, he likes games, and he's talked about RPGs. Our game's an RPG. Let's thank him.
We got a special thanks in a game or two. I got an achievement in a game.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Fucking yeah! As in, like, it was like
Pernell agreed. Like, Latino Heat, thank you so much for the subscription. The timing on that was amazing.
What did you say? Pernell agreed.
Because we got the fucking yeah.
I was like, wait a minute. I was like, I don't know what's happening. But yeah, honestly, there's something pretty cool about the idea of like being able to fit in games like that, and also just being like appreciated in the industry for any reason, whatever. Like, hey, we appreciate the fact that you care about games enough to talk about them and play them, and so much so that for some reason in this particular instance, we want to acknowledge you. Something nice about that, because I feel like more often than not, we're just kind of bystanders in the hobby, which also isn't bad because we don't have to worry about being in the news as being like, I don't know, panned or whatever. We're just people enjoying the game like everybody else. So,
we try to enjoy the games at least.
Yeah. Well, the trick is for the game to be enjoyable. If the game's not enjoyable, well, that's a whole other can of worms there. But how have you guys been?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. We just tackled all the news. We were about to jump into reviews, so we'll get to those in a second. But I'm getting sick, so I think my vacation is getting kiboshed.
That's not kosher.
Yeah,
is it something you can take something for, or just get some more sleep?
I don't know. I'll find out in a few days. See how the trajectory that this goes.
Yeah, hopefully it ends up going for the better. You don't have to deal with the crap for too long. Because being sick ain't fun for nobody.
Nope.
Never fun.
No, it's like, what about you two? How are you guys doing? Hopefully you're not sick too, because we can't be the SML sick cast tonight. We gotta We gotta help
sick.
Joe out here. So you're not sick. That's good. That's good. Don't
Bree,
get
have
sick.
you met Pernell? Have you two interacted yet?
I think we've I don't know that we've actually been on a show together before.
Ooh.
We have not. So hi, how are you?
Pernell, Bree, Pernell.
I'm Pernell, and I'm very loud at times, but you get used to it. And if not, just say, Pernell, get a little quieter, and I'll do my best.
And
Okay.
then he'll
wait,
keep
that's
going.
an option?
No, not for
No.
you. Not for you.
Oh, that's some
No.
bullshit.
You were supposed to click on it on the first episode. You missed your chance.
The funny thing is, you say you're louder than everyone else, and like literally when I load up files for the audio, everyone else is kind of like tiny little lines, and then your segment hits, and it's just giant blocks of audio. Because you have such a deep, thick voice that it like encapsulates the entire audio spectrum. It is impressive.
It's good for karaoke. I've actually had a lot of fun with that at the bar. Like, oh, what can I sing that's going to make everybody go, who the hell decided to give that guy the microphone? And then I always find something. It's
What's
great.
your go-to karaoke song?
Oddly enough, I do like "Man in the Box" by Alice in Chains because that scream is great. One time, and it became a regular thing. A friend and I sang 99 Red Balloons, but we made it into like a sort of like thrash version of it. So like kicking around the room and like just like growling into it. It was great. I've started singing the Buzzcocks lately, if they have it in the book, which is pretty fun to do. And generally beyond that, just if I can find the song and I'm like, wait a minute, I know that song, I want to sing it, I'll do it. And I think the weirdest song I've ever sung, aside from the balloons one, was we were at a karaoke bar that had like Japanese music in it, and we found a song that I knew from Guitar Freak's Ninth Mix called Rocket Dive. And I thought that the lyrics would be like Romanized, so I could actually at least read them, but they were completely in katakana. So I'm like, okay, I know the general rhythm of the song. I'll just make it up as I go. So I just made up all the lyrics until the chorus. I was like, Rocket Dive. People were like, what the hell is he doing? I was like, I picked the song. I gotta sing it now, but I can't read the lyrics. So I just gotta go with it. And it became like a thing that just would happen. So people, we gotta do Rocket Dive. Like, I hope they don't have it because I don't want to have to do it. But if they have it, I have to do it. It's just, that's the law. I don't make the rules.
It's
but all
like
in all, I think karaoke is
my
a lot of
tradition
fun.
every year at MagFest. I have a tradition with my buddy Chris Huber. We call it Ghost of Tradition because there's a song in Rock Band 4 called Ghost of Perdition by the band Opeth. And it'll be like 4 a.m, and we'll just make our way to the Rock Band stand, and we'll pick this song. Like, he'll be on drums, I'll be on bass or vocals or something. We'll get 2 other randos playing with us. And they have no idea what they're in for when they get hit with, like, I Want to Be Sedated or Man in the Box, like just easy pop stuff. Ooh, get some Aerosmith on here. And then a fucking 10-minute prog epic.
What, do you actually creep it on them? Like, let's do our first 2 songs, and then bam!
No, because you only get to pick one song, so I make it.
Oh, so you go right into it.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you also choose 4 a.m. because that's probably the only chance you get to actually get on the damn machine because people flood that thing.
Yeah, people love Rock Band at MagFest. It's gotten really popular again, and it's cool to see.
It's why it makes me sad we don't just get another game. Like, I guess apparently, there's clearly some love for it, but the love doesn't translate to sales, I guess, because I just see people wanting it. And I did sell my copy years ago, and I don't necessarily regret it because I needed the space. But every once in a while, I do find myself going, man, it'd be real nice to bust out Rock Band again, like the new one. I still have my copy of 3, though, at least. So I could still play Rock Band 3, but... And in Rock Band 3, I still have my songs from Rock Band Network. So, ooh.
There you go.
But even still, I can't get new songs or anything like that. So I kind of miss that whole aspect of like browsing the Rock Band Network and checking out songs I haven't heard before that were new to the game. And I could download them just to experience them in the game for the first time.
You're mentioning Green Grass and High Tides. That's a good one. A long-ass song, too. I think that's 9 something.
I can't play it well, but I like singing. I like doing Flirting with Disaster. I like doing that one song. I'm trying to remember the name of it, but because I always know it's like, so here I am. Tribe. The song go Outside by Tribe. And I do Rob the President, which is a lot of fun. Let me see. I do a lot of the ones that they kind of produce for the game. Like there's some really good ones. And I remember doing Rob the President at PAX one year at the Rock Band Lounge. And like some guy from Harmonix runs up and he goes, "Yo, man, no one ever picks that song. That's like one of our favorite ones." I'm like, more people need to like this song. It's the best one in the freaking game, and no one talks about it.
It's a fun one. I like that one.
Yes, it is. You get to sing it. You really get into it. Your voice like it's just great. It's great, and more people need to play it. If we get a freaking Rock Band 5 or something, Rock Band Anniversary Edition. I don't know. Somebody make some instruments. Damn it.
I wish. Come on, Epic, do something. But they've been having layoffs, so my hopes are not high. I just keep releasing Rock Band DLC, even if it's a 2-song a week trickle. I'll take what I can get. So
yeah, if anything, it's just nice to be like, this game's still surviving.
But anyway,
I'm happy just with that.
We got reviews we got to tackle. Bree, are you ready? I know you got to start off with 2.
As ready as I'm gonna be.
All right, let's get into these. First game to talk about tonight is Stray Souls, developed by Jukai Studio, published by Versus Evil, released October 25th on Xbox One, Series X and S, PS4, PS5, and PC for $29.99. Enter a world of nightmares in this third-person action horror inspired by the classics of the genre. Fight terrifying creatures, solve mind-bending puzzles, and unravel a horrid family secret to expose the chilling truth behind your existence. Bree, what is going on in Stray Souls?
All right, so this game, first of all, starts off pretty like it's got a good bang at the beginning. All right, you get a cutscene in the beginning with this mostly naked drunk dude, and he starts walking around the house and sees what I assume is his family like eating body parts, and so of course naturally he grabs a shotgun and starts firing on his family, and then we fast forward to 18 years later. We're not entirely sure. We don't see their deaths. We don't know what happens. So 18 years later, we see a young man named Daniel, and he's turning 18, and his grandmother has just left him a house out of nowhere. But this is his biological grandmother. We find out that he was adopted, and then we get some of the story through some dating app where he's talking, and it turns out that the lady he's been, talking to on the e-dating actually lives right next door. Not suspicious at all. Then he starts having some weird things happen in the house, maybe some ghostly things, and shit gets real weird from there. So we find out that Grandma was really interested in the occult, maybe, and then thankfully the girl next door comes and saves us, and it turns out maybe she knows more about this than she's letting on.
Dun, dun, dun.
I know.
Grandma.
So we take off to go find out the history of the family, and she gives us our first gun, and we just pick this up like we know what we're doing. It's a really fancy gun. She calls it the Excalibur or something. They were handling it like the Excalibur. And we're given barely any tutorial. It's just like, this button does this, and hopefully you know what you're doing, because they're not going to give you any other real tutorial to this at all. So we can roll, we can shoot, we can run. So some basic, survival horror stuff. So we have ammunition everywhere. It's like comically everywhere, and there's no good reason why it should be. But there's ammo everywhere for us to scavenge. There's some health packs in the middle of the woods for us to keep our health up. Because, of course, as we're going through the woods that she has sent us off in for reasons I don't know by ourselves, we run into some monsters in the woods, and we have to start, shooting them to save our lives. We're looking for some cemetery where we're going to find a gravestone that's hopefully going to lead us to some information about the family, and so on. So there's like 6 or 7 levels. They're fairly linear. There's a couple different styles where you're kind of running and gunning, or walking and gunning your way through some monsters. There's some puzzles to solve, more so in some sections than is more important than the fighting, and other sections where the fighting is more important than solving any puzzles. There's some boss fights with some big monsters, which are pretty exciting. There's a dog you can pet, and his name is Klopschik. He's a pug.
That's the important news.
I know, right? There's an achievement for petting the dog.
I was just going to ask.
But yeah, so some of the writing for the characters are a little bit weird. Our main character is like absolutely horrified for like 30 seconds, about the monsters he just ran into in the woods. He's not sure if he's hallucinating or not, is my best guess. But then, like, 30 seconds later, he's, like, sitting in the parking lot waiting for his sister to show up at the cemetery. He's like, I'm bored. And so there's, like, some very inconsistent reactions in the writing from the characters. It's pretty laughable, but, like, in a good way. Like, it's all the camp that you want, I guess. And this is like right after the first boss fight too. Like he's just like, oh my gosh, this is terrifying. You're ugly. Oh my gosh, what? Bang, bang, bang. And like, I'm bored. Typical 17-year-old, right? Or he's just turning 18.
Wait, your main character's 18 in this game? I thought he was in his 40s.
Yeah, no. So when I was playing it on stream the other day, I had the brightness up a bit, so his hair looked a little bit whiter than normal, but that kind of is a good segue into the maybe bad stuff about the game. The graphics are a bit janky, as well as some of the mechanics. There's some stutters, some trails. I fell through some stairs at one point and had to reload my checkpoint.
Nice.
It's not the prettiest game I've ever run into, for sure. I mostly just ignored the graphical weirdness because it didn't detract from the game too much. It kind of added to the trippy vibe of like, oh, hey, we're hallucinating because there's some like demon messing with us. The combat was also pretty questionable at times. Enemies would attack through walls. Seemingly invisible monsters would show up out of nowhere because they were most likely stuck in like walls or corners or something. There was suddenly at the end, there was like a change in how a puzzle mechanic worked. Like normally it would be these two buttons, and then suddenly it was like, no, different buttons. And then all of a sudden there was a climb crawl prompt that had zero explanation. It was just like, I couldn't find my way out of this location. And then suddenly it was like, oh, but you can climb here. And I was like, wait, what? That's never happened. Okay. The audio levels were a bit all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But overall, like, pretty decent. Like, I had a good time with it. Again, some of the writing, and it had decent voice acting despite the weird audio levels. There are 3 different endings. There's some decent cutscenes. There's apparently some hidden cutscenes that I did not unlock yet. There you get some like choices along the way that you can make that I think might unlock certain things. Not really sure, but the endings you can kind of just go through them. You've got 3 pretty obvious options for the endings, but all in all, I had a decent time with it.
Oh, it clocks in at $30. What's your verdict on Stray Souls?
I mean, despite my complaining, I can at least say it's a try it. Like again, I had an overall decent time with it. It had good spooky stuff. There were some jump scares that I got, although one of them was kind of comical. I don't get jump scared at like the normal stuff where it's like, screaming monster. I'm like, no, I walked around the corner and something hit the police squad car and the siren went off and I was like, ah! So, but no, it was a decent, like entry level survival horror kind of, experience. So, yeah.
Oh, I was waiting for you to be like, it was like, oh, scary monsters. Then I went around the corner, I was like, I'm bored. That's like the thing that stuck with me. You were like, just because I'm bored.
I'm bored. Like, that was like the most laughable moment for me. It really was. Outside of maybe the cemetery had a playground, and I was like, seriously? All right, let's go.
That's inviting.
It turned out to be a major plot point. Like, whatever. Let's go.
Like, did you say a crazy playground over there? What playground? What are you talking about? The playground.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah. Playground in the middle of the cemetery. Let's do this. This is creepy. Let's go.
Oh, so cute. Next game to talk about, A Perfect Day, developed and published by Perfect Day Studio, released October 26th. Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, PS5 for $19.99. In this interactive fiction game, you'll revisit the 90s and play an elementary school boy who lacks the courage to give a card to his favorite classmate. In the endless loop of the last day of 1999, you find out the secrets of your classmates, your friends, your family, talking is fun, and help everyone to have their perfect day. You can also play mini games on the Gamacom, assemble your own 4-wheel drive, or go to the park to idle about all day. In short, it's all up to you to have a perfect day, or not. Bree, what's a perfect day?
Wow. So interactive fiction is maybe a better way to say this than visual novel. because I think visual novel as a genre elicits a certain like response, and that is not what this game is. But yet it definitely is interactive fiction. It is a little hard to explain. You start out in a classroom. It's the last day of the millennium. It's the end of December in China. You're a small Chinese boy, and you're kind of like having this memory, this dream of this day as an adult. You're looking back on this, and so if somehow, for some reason, you're creating this like Groundhog Day kind of moment where you can relive your experience. Trying to start out with this goal, you create. They call them wishes, and so these are different like quest markers or things that you get these little quest hooks to as you talk to different characters that lead you around the game and give you different options to try and solve to create your perfect day. And the whole game is sort of broken up into time blocks that vary from an hour to 2 hours. And you can go to different places as you get these quest hooks for them. So, like, you might start out the day in your classroom, you find out that school's been canceled for the rest of the day. For some reason we don't know. There's some bigger stuff going on that you find out later on down the road, where there's like something in the news and maybe some political stuff going on. There's all kinds of threads for you to follow. And in such, this game was way bigger than I expected it to be. So if you follow the thread of one wish, you find out that like one of your best friends from school had borrowed a Game Joy Color from his other classmate and somehow lost it. And so that's kind of the first hook you're really given to go explore. And we have several options. We can go totally screw around and go play at the arcade. We can go try and follow the girl that we're trying to give the card to that we have a crush on. And we can follow her around for, the whole day and try and figure out where she's going to be to give her the card. But we get to the end of that day, no matter what our choices are, if we don't have the courage to give her the card, because that's a statistic that you have nervousness. It's not courage, it's nervousness, and you have like rebelliousness are two of the stats that you get to mess with. If you're too nervous and you don't have enough courage to give her the card, you don't get to complete your perfect day, because ultimately it seems like the final really big thing you need to do at the end of the game is that to get the perfect day. But your other perfect days can be focused on your friends. So you can take the Game Joy Color thing and you can follow it to as much of a conclusion as you can, but you might find out at the 4:00 time block that you get the hint that maybe this other kid might have stolen it because he was there during the morning. So now next day that you're looping around, you have to go find out what happened to this other kid named Song Yi or something like that. I forget what his name was, sorry. And you try to follow his path to find out where he's going to be so that you can find out whether or not maybe he stole it. So you can't even resolve most of these story threads in 1 or 2 or even 3 run-throughs. So, and
bunch of replayability, it sounds like.
Yeah, lots and lots and lots of replayability. Now, the good thing is after your first time playing through a segment, you get a fast forward, so you can fast forward through that segment. And there's even like you can sleep through class at the beginning, so you don't have to go through all those conversations again. But every once in a while, even sleeping through it, you're going to get one tiny little tidbit different or one tiny little change because of something you did in a previous playthrough. It's really cool. But it also was, again, way bigger and more complicated than I was expecting. And so I'm trying to navigate myself, and I love time travel loops and all of the stuff. So like I'm very intrigued by it. But at the same time, it's a lot trying to figure out who needs to be at what time. I felt like I needed to make a diary of what I was doing and the little clues I had found and like treat it like a real detective game. Let's see. There was a lot of little like cute nods to things in here because of course you're right at the end of the turn of the century, and so like things like you're playing on a play session, you're playing with Windoors 95, different stuff. We got to surf the web for the first time ever. And it was just this like trash busy website with like a bunch of like hypertext links in like bad colors and a bright white background. It took forever to load. We had to and they had a laptop too. That was the crazy thing. So, but yeah, there's so many different layers to dive into, and it's hard to find a direction to pick where you're trying to unravel. You're pulling at this one thread and going to another. You find out that there's some things going on with your dad where he's gambling maybe, but he was doing it because he couldn't find the money he needed. And there's some strange businessman who is coming to dinner with us and is, making pinky promises with us that if, things turn out well with our dad and we do, we're a good kid, we might get a nice reward. And there's, you can eavesdrop on parts of the conversation. There's just all these different things going on where dad isn't laid off, but there's nothing happening at the factory. So maybe he's not getting paid enough money. And then you've got all the drama with the kids. But ultimately, all of these are tangential to this fact that you need to figure out how to give this girl a card because something's going on with her and you like her and you want to make her day. But you also want to find out how you can give the best day to your other friends, too. And those give you those extra clues and things. So
you got to work on that perfect day.
It is rough to find that perfect day. Yeah. The other cool mechanic is that you find items as you go along, whether it's for the mini games like racing your car, your slot car. You get different engines and other parts that you'll find over time. And you have a drawer at the very end of your day. You get a reasoning section, and it kind of tells you some logic steps and some things that you found out on that run through that helped further along your wish paths for different things. And then you can take these items and you can shove them into a drawer, but you have limited space. As time goes on, you find other items that give you higher capacity to store things, but you can store items so you already have them the next day. So when you run into the old lady who is starving and maybe, suffering from dementia, you have a piece of food you can give her, and now you can do her track. Or now that you know that the kid you need to talk to is going to be at the Children's Palace racing cars at 4 p.m., you can make sure that you have your car in your inventory and you can go straight there at 4 o'clock and have all the things you need to win the races and get those conversations that you need with him. So it's a complicated and really interesting system.
Sounds like you enjoyed your time with this one. The word is so overused and we make fun of it, but this one really does sound unique.
And I would say that it is for sure. But it is
a perfect day could be.
Yeah, I mean, you've got lots of options there.
It's a perfect day, but is it a perfect game? It's $20. What's your verdict?
Well, I was not able to find my perfect day yet. I feel like I've still got a lot of stories to unpack. And I felt like some of this was the first several days almost were still partially a tutorial of trying to figure out how to make things go. And the complication level of some of it initially was a little off-putting. And so I would say we're it's a buy it if you are very much what you're getting yourself into. It's definitely a try it for sure. I'm just kind of right there on the cusp of which one I want to give it. And but it's definitely unique. I definitely enjoyed the storytelling. It was just a little more complicated than I was expecting.
It was surprisingly unique.
Very much, yes.
Nice. All right. Well, Bree, that is it for you. What is on your docket tonight?
I am going to go be a pirate.
More Sea of Thieves, yarn.
I am. I'm going to go play some Sea of Thieves.
Nice. Well, we will let you get going. Do you have any final thoughts, final words?
Nope. My brain just totally melted.
Well, it was a pleasure podcasting with you for the first time. So.
It was lovely to be here with you, Pernell.
Oh,
and she'll be on the next episode too. So yay!
Yay! That's right. You'll see me on the next one. All right.
Now we're talking.
Yay!
Yeah. All right. Well,
also,
you guys have a great night.
Dementia dropped 10 biddies. Thank you, Dementia. Yay!
Yay! You guys have a great rest of the show, and I will talk to you later.
Okie dokie.
Catch you later.
All right, next up, Ghostrunner 2, developed by One More Level, published by 505 Games, released October 26th on Xbox Series X and S, PS5, and PC for $39.99. Blood Will Run in Ghostrunner 2, a hardcore first-person platformer slasher Set in a post-apocalyptic cyberpunk future, become the ultimate cyber ninja and prepare for epic boss fights, improved skills, an interactive story, new game modes, and a captivating synthwave soundtrack. Pernell, tell us about your time with Ghostrunner 2, and if it was anything like my time with Ghostrunner 2, it was hard.
Oh, yeah. If someone were to tell me that I was going to be playing a game in 2023 that resembled a baby or I don't know what I'd call it, like a weird hybrid of Mach-and X and Mirror's Edge, I'd say they were crazy, because who in the heck would have thought those two games would go together in any capacity? Well, I'm wrong, because we have Ghostrunner 2. Noting in advance, I've never played Ghostrunner 1, and I loved this game, but that comes with some caveats, as Joe kind of mentioned from the jump, because this game is going to challenge you. But I think you mentioned the name of the developer. I think they have a very appropriate name for this game. Having this be the game that they've released. Yeah, because this game is definitely one more try, one more level, one more. It's got all that going on. But I'm rambling on the general aspects of things I like without even talking about what the game is, so I should probably get into that ASAP. Ghostrunner 2 involves a continuation of the first Ghostrunner game, which, again, I've never played. So the gist that I came out of it with was you are a Ghostrunner, which is essentially like a sort of cyber assassin in a world that has, a lot of cyberpunk type stuff going on. There was a regime run by someone known as the Architect in the first game. You took the Architect down, but for some reason, the Architect has been revived along with a flock of new Ghost Runners, which was not meant to have happened, including you. So now you are working to take the Architect down again, and there's also like some interpolitical stuff going on regarding like the tower that you reside in, and
want to know what else is going on? Together. We're getting subs. Raider Biz just dropped the sub for the 19th month. Thank you so much. Sorry for cutting you off.
It's okay. I just want to get one of these subs myself. I want a freaking jalapeno and roast beef sub. So
you're making me hungry now.
I'm very hungry every time. So with this game, you're basically portraying Jack, the Ghost Runner from the first game that I described, and you're trying to put a stop to the Architect. And this is done by way of going on a level-by-level beat, where these levels are fairly well curated for the intent being of you to running around, parkouring, slashing, dashing, sliding, getting so much fun out of your momentum-based abilities that is ridiculous. The thing that makes this game particularly challenging, though, you might think it would have been the traversal, but you'd be wrong. The actual thing that makes this game difficult is the fact that you, as well as everyone else that is not a boss, will die in one hit, and they are not kidding. So what ends up happening generally is you will find yourself, traversing a level. You can run, jump, slide. You can wall run on certain structures. Eventually, you gain access to other abilities such as throwing shuriken and grappling. But mostly, you'll be traversing a level, and you'll eventually get to a section where there will be enemies present in a sort of playground, I'll call it, that houses these enemies. And your task is to either A, kill them all. Who are we kidding? You're going to kill them all. Or get to the other side unscathed. But again, they die in one hit, and so do you. So what ends up happening is you'll look at this scenario and try to figure out what is the most optimal way to progress through this area and clear it out. Do you need to just run in, slide, block a bullet, slash a guy, then jump over, grapple across the ceiling, and come down and kill the next guy before the third guy can come at you and get you blindsidedly? Maybe. Do you need to blow up a barrel that's hanging off in the corner in hopes of getting collateral damage to kill 2 of the 3 guys that are on the screen? Maybe. Do you want to take a billboard that is hanging from the wall, grapple on it, and then pull it down to the ground and crushing as many of the people as you can with it? Possibly. But what I can promise you is you will die at least 3 times trying to sort all that out, because you're going to fail. You're going to fail again. And then eventually you're going to go, holy crap, I pulled it off. And no matter how many times it takes you to get it right, when you get it right, you somehow still feel like a badass. I can't quite explain it. It's like, the best way to put it is like how my brother will always talk about how his catchphrase when he plays multiplayer games is you're only as good as your last game, which means he can get his ass beat 15 times, but if he beats you on the 16th time, he's done. He's like, I'm not playing anymore. I retire. I won. He doesn't even care that he lost 15 times prior to the 16th, which was the win. All he cares about is that he won. And this game gives that feeling in spades, because when you kill the last guy in an environment, the game will slow down a bit, give this sort of like slow motion recap, like you just tore that guy up. Now you can keep moving, get yourself a little strut going. You earned it. And you feel good about yourself. And then you'll move on and you'll do it again. You'll be grinding, you'll be wall sliding, you'll have dealing with disappearing platforms sometimes, and environments that, quite frankly, I kind of chuckled as I played the game because they make for great playgrounds. But I have no idea how anybody can live in this place. Because it's like wall, disjointed platforms, the gutters are sitting there. Like, how'd you get there? I had to do so much crazy crap to get to that platform, and you're just sitting there smoking a cig with a gun. How'd you do it? I don't know. What makes the Ghostrunner so special? Everybody can just get the ledges and hang out like it's nobody's business. Whatever. I digress. The game is freaking great. Sometimes in the level, you'll come across objects that will initiate a sort of mini game that you can tackle. It'll generally be things like get to the goal in a certain amount of time, or clear out a zone full of enemies in a certain amount of time, or go through a series of circle checkpoints before the time runs up. And the reward is typically memory. Or currency, but generally memory. And you might be asking yourself, what the heck is memory? Well, that is the upgrade system that this game has, because after levels, you'll occasionally unlock new chips at a machine that's located in your hub base that exists between stages. When you go to this hub, you can actually spend some of the money you get by either doing some of these mini games or by defeating enemies to purchase these chips. And these chips can augment a variety of your skills, such as your sword skills, your shuriken skills, your traversal skills, etc., etc. And then once you buy these chips, you can slot them into like a memory board that works as kind of like your spine or your brain. Ooh, cyberpunk. And based on the chips you slot into that will determine what abilities you get. And they even kind of added a bit of a puzzly element to this thing, too, because the more memory chips you get, the more chips you can slot. And the more chips you can slot, the more slots exist on the board to slot said chips. But depending on where you slot a chip, that will determine if there's like a bonus ability that can come with it. So you might get a chip that says, if you block an enemy with a perfect parry, which is basically guarding just as an enemy's about to strike you, you will get 25% of your energy back. Energy being the thing that denotes your special abilities and your shuriken. However, if you have this chip on a board that is not surrounded by any other chips, you'll actually get a 35 or 45% boost when you perfect parry. So that might be an excuse for you to say, I want this exclusively by itself on my board because I want these bonuses specifically. So, and there's like different conditions for different chips, so it gives you something to play around with. I did like that upgrading system because despite the fact that, again, you die in one hit, and I just kept wishing that one upgrade would be, you die in 2 hits now. But as much as I could never get that upgrade, I still enjoyed seeing the ones I did come across, and it made me want to see what was going to happen next and how I could augment my character to be my perfect Ghostrunner. The platforming in this game, despite being first person, parkourish a la Mirror's Edge, it's still fun. It's a lot of fun. It's just you will find yourself going, oh, God damn it, if only I could see my feet. Maybe I'd do a better job timing these jumps, which, despite me complaining about this since way back in like the PS2 era, it's not changed, but I've at least gotten to the point where I'm like, I can still enjoy these games. I just know I suck at them compared to if I can see my entire character model. But you will have a lot of deaths where you find yourself doing that. But it doesn't take away from the fun. Restarts are quick and effective. If you decide you need to stop during a stage and come back later, as in go back to the main menu and back out, the game does checkpoints within stages, so you're not required to finish a level in order to put the game down, which I personally really appreciate. It made me want to go for all the secret items and stuff. And there are a lot of secrets in these levels, some of which are superfluous, others of which are pretty important, like the aforementioned memory chips for more ability acquisitions. But then there's also cosmetic skins for your sword and for the gloves that are holding the sword. So if you want to have a really cool, tricked out pink and yellow Ghostrunner running around slashing up red jerk bags and black armor, you can do that. Really leans into the cyberpunk aesthetic, I would say, too. All in all, though, I would say this game is fantastic. It's a game that I did not even know was a thing, and it is now making the list of potential game of the years for me. I know people are hearing me and go, "What the hell, man? We already got them. We got our Baldur's Gates and our Mario Wonders." And yeah, I'll tell you, there's room for multiple games of the years in my book. I don't want to just make it just the obvious choices. And Ghostrunner 2 totally could be one such game of the year. This thing is solid. And I hope more people give it a shot. I hope less people end up being like me, whereas I didn't know about this game until you mentioned it to me, because more people should play this. This is fantastic. And I hope it gets a lot of love out there in the gamer space.
Cool. Well, it clocks in at $40. Your official verdict is?
One of the easiest bites I've given in the last few months.
Nice. Very cool. All right, next up, Just Dance 2024, developed by Ubisoft Paris, published by Ubisoft, released October 24th on Series X and S, Switch, and PS5 for $59.99. Discover Just Dance 2024 edition with all new music and dances. On the lineup, over 40 songs and universes from the latest hits to the greatest classics. Dance to the music and rhythm of Miley Cyrus, Bad Bunny, Blackpink, and Whitney Houston, and more with Just Dance. Jacob, tell us about your time playing Just Dance 2024, which was provided to us courtesy of the Ubisoft Creators Program. And you got the Switch version, yes?
Yes, I did.
Tell us about it.
Well, did you play Just Dance 2023?
I
Then you
don't
played
dance.
Well, it's okay. I don't
Just
either.
Dance.
So, Just Dance is a. Can we all guess what kind of game it is?
Collectible card game.
Roguelike
I want to go with
crawler.
JRPG. JRPG.
Wrong. It's a pigeon romance simulator.
I knew it. I knew it. I was just playing with you, but I knew that all along.
Of course. So it's a dance game where you can either use a cell phone or a controller, and you move along to the guided dance movements that the screen tells you to as the music is playing, and you have to match the movements as you're going. And generally, it's a blast to play. I mean, as long as you've got other people. I mean, I guess some people who are playing it by themselves, like, I guess they might have fun with it, but really, it's more of a party game than anything.
Yeah.
Pretty much, dance.
This is what back in our day we used to play DDR and Karaoke Revolution, and then Guitar Hero, and then Rock Band, and now it's just dance.
Right.
There's no use to DDR, baby. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're not going to advocate for Pump It Up?
Oh, I will play Pump It Up, but I didn't want to throw that under the bus because I know you were like, well, DDR. But Pump It Up is what I play, absolutely.
Well, yeah, I mean, Pernell's too much of a pro. So,
No.
Nope. Yeah, I actually tried playing Pump It Up once because the arcade that used to be in the local mall, they got one, and I was just like, oh, this is so sweet, I'm going to tear it up because, I'm just so good at DDR, which back when I was in college, I actually was. I wasn't as fat as I am now. And yeah, I played like one game of Pump It Up, and I fucking failed that like no other.
Because you only played one game. Gotta go back.
Yeah, I know, but I was a broke ass bitch, so
Way to keep the family game family friendly.
I didn't realize that this was going to be considered a family game. Like usually,
it's Just Dance. Anyway, tell us about Just Dance 24.
So, with this, there are a nice batch of songs. You get like 40 or 45 different songs. So like there's Miley Cyrus with her song Flower. There is a Whitney Houston song, I want to dance with somebody. Crud. I'm drawing a blank on.
You want to have a drink with somebody.
But anyway, so the thing is that, yeah, you get these titles, but in all reality, the game wants you to subscribe to the Just Dance or I think it's called Just Dance Plus now. I think it used to be called Just Dance Unlimited. But it's the service, or the subscription service that you get to it, and it opens up a huge plethora of extra songs. Like, I think it's like over 300, which is kind of, I don't know. Like, I mean, it's kind of annoying because it's just like, unless you're okay with just being stuck with the 40, which of course, we never are. I mean, like with how we used to play DDR back in the day and Guitar Hero and Rock Band, you got to buy the DLC. Well, I mean, Just Dance does that too, but it's just, good lord, it's very much in your face. You need to buy this, and you need to get the subscription, which is like, I think it's like $4 a month, or I think $40 for the year. And and by the way, there's also still going to be DLC songs.
25 for a year, and then
all right, that's
4
actually,
for a month, 10 for 3 months, or 25 for a year.
okay. Actually, for 25 for a year, that's really not that bad of a deal. I'm not going to lie, but anyway, and so gameplay. Going back to that, you just have to move with the different dancing, and there is multiplayer, obviously, and on it, like, I don't know, it's just fun. Like my wife, kids, and I like playing at it. Like the kids are having a blast, even though half the time they're not following it correctly. Also having fun laughing at Dad because I'm slow as shit and terrible at it. But they also like the song, selection. They ended up getting into Boney M's Rasputin song. They got into it because of Just Dance, and it's like their favorite song of all time now. But yeah, like graphics are very much similar to last year's, which like last year's was actually an improvement over previous years. But on the Switch, and I don't know if it's going to be like this for Xbox or other systems to play on, but this game is very online centered, and you will notice that it takes moments like, and granted, it's not the longest pause, but it's still noticeable enough that like with the menus and the streaming and stuff like that. With Nintendo Switch, it's very much an online. I don't want to say it's online only, but I mean, it might as well be a live service game. Like, you've got the 40 songs that you're going to be able to play when your subscription runs out for the Just Dance Plus, but that's still kind of frustrating, especially with the price tag that it's going for. And with, at least on the Switch, the online issues. Now, gameplay wise, we didn't have an issue with it. Everything seemed to load fine that way. But it's just playing online and having to access online menus and stuff like that all the time. It's not the best choice for this game. I
wonder if that's more limitation of the Switch, given Nintendo's known reluctance with online stuff.
Well, I mean, given like what we've seen with like how the recent Mortal Kombat 1 came out and how that looks on the Switch, I mean, it might just be that the Switch is getting old and this is how they have to make the game work for it. I will say this. I thought it was nice that that they do make it so you can play with people who have Just Dance 2023. But of course, the problem with that is if they don't have the same songs as you, they can't play it. And so, again, you better be subscribing to it. So, like, I enjoyed my time with it. I don't have any issues, honestly, per se, with the game. It's just, if you're going to be getting it, you better also be ponying up for the Just Dance subscription, because otherwise it's like this could have been a DLC pack. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They do have deluxe and premium editions. Looks like the Ultimate Edition comes with a full year of the subscription included for $84.99, so basically the same price. The game is $60. What are your thoughts?
If you're buying the game by itself, I would just wait for a sale. But if you're going to go with the service, you might as well just invest in the $80 version. Honestly, with our subscription, and get the year subscription. Honestly, like if we had gone out to purchase this for our kids, because I mean they do enjoy taking breaks and just playing Just Dance every once in a while. At the $80 thing, like that's honestly the move we would have made. So, as a parent with kids, I would suggest going with that one.
Cool, sounds good. All right, next up is Warm Snow, developed by Bilibili Games, published by Microids, released October 20th on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, PS5, and PC for $19.99. In the year 27 of the Longwu era, the strange warm snow refuses to melt and plunges the world into chaos, turning the people into uncontrollable monsters. You play as Bayan, a mysterious warrior wandering this oriental dark fantasy universe. Your mission is to confront the 5 houses which used to protect the world by delivering them from the corruption and finally defeat the White Lotus. Pernell, what is going on in Warm Snow?
So, Warm Snow is essentially a roguelike slasher game where you portray a samurai of sorts, swordsman, I'll call him, not a samurai, but a swordsman, who is tasked with what you pretty much just said. And this is done by way of traversing a series of procedurally generated areas, broken up by, I guess, like chapters, they call them in this game. Though one of them is a prologue, and you have to do the prologue every time, too. As you progress through these levels, with the hopes being to eventually defeat the bosses that represent those different, entities or different groups and save the day. No, I did not save the day, but I did get a number of tries under my belt to come away with an understanding of what this game is all about. And I will admit, I was pleasantly surprised by it, primarily because of one of the main mechanics that the game runs, or actually 2 of the mechanics the game runs on. So the main way you fight enemies in this game is you have a typical sword slashing attack, and you have a dash maneuver that can be utilized too. But one of the 2 things that made this game stand out to me is the other way that you have to attack is that as you're running around, you have a cache of flying swords that are just floating behind you as you go. You can press a button to fling a sword at an enemy, just launch swords at guys. As you hit enemies with them, you will do damage to them. Sometimes swords will stick into enemies and stay there. Other times the swords might bounce off of enemies after colliding and they'll just end up on the ground, just lying around somewhere. You have a finite number of these swords. And what ends up happening is as you run across them on the ground, you will pick them back up. But let's say, for example, you decide you don't want to run across the ground to pick them up. Let's just say you just want to go to town on enemies and worry about the swords in a different way. Well, the game gives you an option for that, and that is sheathing your swords. You can press a trigger button at any time to summon every sword that you've dropped on the ground or thrown at enemies back into your possession. Any enemies that are within the path of those swords, when you call them back, get stabbed. Enemies that had swords sticking out of them, when you pull them out, they take damage again from the swords being extracted from their bodies. It's actually a pretty cool concept, and they do a lot to weave that into the game in a way that makes it very useful. For example, you are able to take on, well, I guess you pray to a statue at the beginning of every run. You unlock more statues as you go. But one of the statues that you utilize in the game is one where you choose one of 2 commands for it. What you start with a passive, but you also get 2 combo-based abilities or 2 ability-based structures from it too. And the one that I like is that when you strike an enemy with the flying sword, your next attack, that's a melee attack, will be like extra powered. So you can like pretty much throw a sword, dash at a guy, and then slash him with your melee strike. Maybe do it again and again and again with that pairing, and then bring them all back. Preferably if you step and make a little bit of a distance away from the guy, so that there's other enemies in the way of the swords that are coming back, and boom, everybody's getting stabbed. It feels good to pull those kinds of maneuvers off. The other thing about this game I think is particularly interesting is that if you've played a roguelike game, or I guess just action game in general these days, you're familiar with the idea of getting relics or items that can be equipped to give you side abilities and perks. Well, the way this game does it is that when you get items, you have actually 4 different slots that the item can go into. There's core, power, agility, and skill. And depending on what slot you put the item into, the item does something completely different. So you might find yourself being like, okay, well, if I put it under the power slot, my attack speed will go up, which would be nice. But if I put it under the core slot, I'll actually get oiled status on my weapon whenever I sheath it, which is pretty freaking cool. So you'll find yourself in these scenarios, you're like, I don't know which one of these I want to put it under, because all these options are great. Though the other part of that I've noticed is that due to how that works, I found myself getting a good combination of things, and I ain't trying to break the wheel. Once I got my setup going, new items will show up, and I go, man, they can get to walking. I got what I want right now. I don't need anything new. Whether that's been to my detriment or not, I don't know. But what I do know is I like getting comfortable with a build and rolling with it. So you can get these items and equip them to these different slots. You can also find new swords. And the swords, when you find them, replace your basic weapon. And they don't do anything special in regards to like special attacks or anything like that. But they do give you different perks, such as like attack damage up or elemental damages up. And sometimes it'll have a bonus effect, as in to say, if you come across a specific item in your run and you're using this sword as well, you'll get an additional damage bump, or you'll be you'll be freezing enemies more frequently, something like that. So it makes you kind of wonder what items you're on the lookout for to see if you can get that synergy to ever sync up. When you do die eventually, and you will die, you will go back to... Oh, I should also mention this too before I go into that. The roguelike element in this game does include the aspect of like going through one area, killing all the enemies that are in the area, and then choosing a route at the end to go on to continue the level, with each route that's being differentiated by a different reward that could come at the end. Or it might say this route has an extremely strong enemy in it, but that will likely mean you'll get a cool sword as a reward. Or this one will give you a healing station, or this one will give you, more currency to spend. But you'll choose the route you want to take, and you'll proceed in that manner until you get to a boss, defeat the boss, and do it again. Only after stopping at a hub where you can deal with NPCs that can help you out with different items they can give you or different perks. So now back to the thing I was talking about earlier, which is when you die, because you're going to die. You're going to die a lot. Good luck with that. When you do, the game will kind of take you into a sort of like a shop that is run by the merchant that also runs the end level shops as well. And you can spend this currency that you get pretty much by beating mid bosses and big bosses to purchase upgrades on a 3-tiered skill tree. And these skill trees options will give you elements such as like, more hit points, more attack power, relic boosting skills. And you'll build up on this relic tree, or rather this skill tree, as you play in your different runs, hopefully getting you to a point where you're actually just decimating enemies left and right. I will say, like, the one thing about this game that kind of hurts it, but not in a way that's going to make it unrecommendable, but just something that's worth noting, is that aside from the occasional, like I guess, active skill you can get from some of the items, active skills being like a rage meter filling, a skill that can be activated once you fill a rage meter being kill guys and get hit as well. Or max out, you can use it. But aside from those abilities, your repertoire, regardless of everything you get, typically will revolve around you slashing melee, sword flinging, and sheathing. Because that is the core mechanic. Some people might hear me say that and go, I need more variety in my combat. I don't want to just slash and smash. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, but that's what this game's all about. So you're going to be doing it a lot. With that said, though, if you're okay with that, this game is legitimately good. Even with the little small sprites, there's really good artwork in the characters. The bosses, when you deal with the larger bosses, they look really cool on the screen. Movement is fast and fluid. I only wish that the dashing didn't have that abrupt stop in it, but I guess that's meant to do that so you don't just kind of exploit the dash mechanic all over the damn place like you could in something like, say, Scourgebringer, which is still a hard game, by the way. Yeah. But I digress. But this game, I do think is pretty good. I can recommend it. I might even go so far to say I would recommend it as a buy it in this case. I know you haven't said it yet, but I'll just say it again when you do. But I do feel like this game caught me off guard. It worked very well. It was like, you remember, you were like, hey, you want to try this game? I was like, well, I don't know. I'm going to have the time, yada, yada, yada. And I took it on. And I'm honestly glad I did, because this is one of those surprise releases that caught me off guard. And I do feel as though more people need to give it a home.
Oh, well, it clocks in at $20. What are your thoughts?
Warm snow is a hot item this holiday season. There you go. I recommend it as a decent... I tried, man. I tried. It's unique.
Hopefully it'll burn up the sales
game,
charts.
In my opinion. Ooh, no, that would be hot snow. No, I do think this is a buy it game. This is a great title, and one that I think more people will be happy to play once they give it an opportunity.
Well, sounds good. All right, well, Pernell, that is it for you. We will let you get going as well. Do you have any fun plans for the night?
Probably sleep, because one thing I'm starting to learn is that my body wants more of that, and I got to give it to it. But I will likely do more with the Steam Deck before I go to bed, though. Get a little gaming in.
All right, well, you have yourself a good one. Do you have any final words?
keep enjoying those games and give Alan Wake 2 all the love you can. We waited 13 years for it. You should play it. It's good.
Buy it for us.
I maybe. We'll see.
Ooh.
Maybe.
I would not object.
away.
I'm just going to say.
I'll put some thought in this bad, but we'll see. You guys have yourselves a good night.
Take it easy, Pernell. All right. Next game is Agatha Christie, Murder on the Orient Express, developed by Microids Studio Lyon, published by Microids, released October 19th on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, PS5, and PC for $39.99. Step on board the legendary Orient Express and immerse yourself in the most famous detective suit in a race against the clock to unmask the murderer. Aki, tell us about the murderer.
I'm not going to tell you shit about the murderer. Why would I explain the murderer? What is wrong with you?
Okay,
Go
well,
read
tell
the
us
book.
about.
Good Lord. Or if you're too lazy, just watch the movie.
How about we play the game instead?
I always forget their movies, actually, to be honest.
So anyway, what is the game?
worst.
Tell us about the game.
Okay. In this, you play as Perot, basically the Dutch version of Sherlock. And this one gets a little weird to me because I don't know what time it's supposed to be set in. Like the first one felt like it was like ye olden days, and now like at the very, very first scene of this game, Perot is looking down at a smartphone in his hand, and then like 5 minutes later, people are like, "Oh yes, this amazing train, and it's an old locomotion," and I'm like, what time period is this? I am so confused. It's like you're like, "Oh, this amazing brand new train," and it's like not a bullet train, but he has a smartphone. What he's going? I don't understand. But you're going on the Oriental Express, and you have a whole cast of characters that you get to meet, and your very first thing, because they always give you a nice little simple tutorial mission for you to do to basically show you what the controls are to the game. And this one, you're going to find some dude's lost ticket, and it explains all the controls, and they're different from the prior game that I reviewed in this series of games, which kind of shocked me a little bit. I figured they'd play very much the same. They're a bit different. This one I feel is a lot more streamlined. But basically, you walk around and you either talk to people or you look for clues in different areas. It's the same interaction for both. There's a little dot over anything you can interact with, so nice and simple. It's very much a Sherlock-style game, but significantly easier than the Sherlock Holmes games. And so you're on a train for pretty much the entirety of this game. So it's a much smaller area, thankfully, because that I'm very glad about that, because I thought how many different places you were able to go in the prior game was a bit much, because you had to go back and forth between them all. And in this one, you do a lot of backtracking, but it's just one train, which makes life so much easier. It feels so much faster, at least. And obviously, there's a dun 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 murder. Who would have thought, right? Crazy concept. Yeah, like no one would ever expect that from murder on said train. Never, right? And
I'm flabbergasted.
Yeah. I know, right? And you have a slew of characters that all have their own issues and things they're hiding that you have to find out. You got a princess and her bird that's really, really annoying. You have, an American couple that are really rich and kind of snooty. You have an American, I think it's an American businessman who's kind of a twat. So on and so forth, that you get to interact with and get to know them throughout the game to varying degrees. And there's a few different types of gameplay here. There's obviously when you're walking around and you can just find clues and tap a button and he will tell you what it is. And then he puts it into his little mind palace. And from there you get to interact with it to a lesser degree, I feel, than in the prior game. Usually most of them are already linked to anything, and he's just like, okay, this little bubble that has appeared is lit up in one of various colors. When you click on it, it will tell you what you can do with it. Sometimes they're like, okay, this one basically went nowhere, so Others are like, oh, here's this colored one. And it's just telling you need to go talk to this person, which I thought was super useful because in the prior game, they didn't have that. So I got lost a lot. But now it tells you, hey, go talk to this specific person. And it is lit up its own color until you've done it. So you can always look at that and you can go down and you're like, oh, that's a different color. I haven't done that yet. Click on it. And it just tells you, go talk to this person, stupid. And then you can go talk to them and stop being stupid. And it's great. Then there's other ones where sometimes you get to look at a character and you get to determine based on prior conversations you've had with them. There's a handful of little boxes that are drag and drop boxes that you get to fill in information based on their looks and things that they've actually spoke to you about. One of the first ones is this retired Navy captain has told you he's retired Navy and, British Navy. So one of his things was, well, what's his ethnicity? British is pretty good since he was in the British Navy. What was his occupation? Well, he's a retired captain. He told you that too. What's his age? Well, he's not 70 and he's not like 21 or whatever it was. So it must be this other one. There you go. Now you filled out this information about him, and it's nice, simple, sweet. And other times he's like, well, where have I seen this item before? And you click on that in his little mind palace, and then he'll suddenly show you a bunch of pictures of individuals who may have been wearing or holding or whatever that object, and you just click which one had been wearing it or holding it or what have you. So, and he's like, oh, yes, you're right. And if you're wrong, he immediately tells you you're wrong, which is very nice. He's very quick on the uptake there. It's like, if you screw up, you don't have to wait because he'll tell you, oh, no, that's not right. Let's try again. Again, I love how simplistic they make these because it makes Sherlock games can make you feel real dumb sometimes. These make you feel real smart.
It sounds like you're enjoying your time with it, yes?
Yes, I have very much enjoyed my time. Achievements are working. I've played through. Yeah. Originally, when I started this, achievements hadn't quite started working yet. So I decided to restart it and start getting achievements, and I've gotten a few of them. So yeah, it's nice. So yeah, it's pretty good, pretty sweet, short game. It is split between basically chapters. Obviously the tutorial one is the prologue, and it takes around 10 to 12 hours on your first playthrough, probably. There is a really funny set of collectibles you can collect throughout each chapter. There's a handful of them. They're golden mustache statues.
Nice.
Yeah. He has a mustache, and so every time he picks one up, he has something to say about it too. Which is really adorable. The only warning I have for anybody is his personality is different in this game than it was in the prior one. He is a much older individual in this game, and he just he feels very jaded and like he's like, I just don't want to do any of this anymore, which is very different from the last game where he was like super excited to like, okay, I'm going to go do this. I want to do this. This needs to get done. Now he's like, I guess I'll
sick
do
of this
whatever.
shit.
Basically. And that was like, and he's like that from the very beginning. That was such a 360 for me. I was like, what? That's not
going to be me at the end of December when I'm just like ready to wrap up for the year.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm so burnt out. Like, listen to me in January. I'm like, what's up, everyone? This is the SML podcast. Now it's like
yeah, that 1 month break
now it's
really
early
helps.
November, and I'm just like breaking down. Like it really close. It just sounded like this. Anyway, Agatha Christie Murder on the Orient Express is $40. What do you think?
Totally. I think it's totally worth it. These are really fun, really good games. And they take, 10, 12 hours to beat them. I totally think it's worth your money.
Cool. So that's 2 good ones in a row from Microids. Let's go for 3. Next game is The Smurfs 2, The Prisoner of the Green Stone, developed by Osome Studio, published by Microids. Released November 2nd on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, PS5, and PC for $39.99. Andy Smurf has created a revolutionary invention, the Smurfomix. However, it's missing a key ingredient, the green stone, which is in the greedy clutches of Gargamel. So Handy Smurf and his team set off on a mission to retrieve the famous stone from Gargamel's laboratory, but a fatal misstep causes it to explode, its fragments scattering through the cursed land. Jacob, what is going on in The Smurfs 2, The Prisoner of the Green Stone?
So much like the previous Smurfs game, which was called Mission, I think it was like Vileaf or something like that. That was very much into Super Mario Sunshine-esque gameplay. And this one isn't that far off either. I mean, it looks more of just like as close to a gun as the Smurfs are ever going to get. But yeah, pretty much the Smurfs have had to make a deal with Gargamel to get the whole forest and different areas fixed up. And it is going to be quite the task. And of course, like not only do you have to clean up the whole area, but there's all sorts of like weird creatures out there. And you have to use your abilities with the different guns, which, I mean, they're not guns, but they're guns. So like one of them is very similar to like a pistol or like a regular rifle, like shooting one at a time. You do have this other thing that kind of acts like a shotgun. Kind of. It's like it's not as powerful, but obviously wider spread. And then there are like physical like attacks that you can do. Some of which are actually like quicker to do it, like especially if you're just trying to like clean up all of like the green crystals that are all over the place. If you're just trying to clean them up, like doing a couple of ground pounds will act like, honestly, I found that to be quicker than shooting everything. And what it essentially is that it's just a lot of action platforming, like a regular action adventure title. And while the numbers of all of the like monsters that you're having to fight in this game, the game will tell you ahead of time, like, by the way, like we're sealing off all the exits and you have to defeat like 31 of these little things. No more than like 5 to 7 come out at a time. And so it's just like, it will seem overwhelming, but it's totally manageable. You just need to be good at dodging and, keeping the rate of fire up. But yeah, it's like, honestly, it's a really solid kids game. Actually, it's just a really solid game, period. And I'm having like a blast just running through everything, like cleaning up, because of course you want to try to clean up it, like the whole entire forest. But what I think is kind of neat about this is that in some areas, like there's definitely like 2 different ways that you could have taken to go through. And so you're not going to get that 100% on the first try through, but later on you can return to it and finish cleaning up now that you're able to take like the second route through it. There's also different challenges that you can do. Most of it's just like clean up all the crystals in X amount of time, or like you have to like defeat all the beasts in X amount of time. Or the one I thought was kind of cool. There are a couple of like speed running stuff, and of course they've got monsters all over the place. And like if you stick around and you try to defeat everyone, you will still get a prize. But like the game is actually telling you like, figure out how you can like shoot as few of these little guys and make it up to that mountain up top, up over there. like, I don't know. I just thought it was a nice change of pace, and it like brought in like a speedrunning aspect that, you know, if you want to speedrun, you can. You don't have to, but at the same time, it didn't feel like it was absolutely ridiculous where it was going. But yeah, like I didn't have that many. I don't really think I had any gripes about it. Like, it's just a solid game, and like I feel like everyone slept on the previous one because, I mean, it kind of is just Super Mario Sunshine with the Smurfs. But again, it's a solid title. Like, and this one, it like is no different. Like, you know, I mean, so often like we get kids games that are just very simplistic and like they underestimate everybody on it. But these Smurf games, these are pretty good. Like, I wasn't really a fan of the Smurfs kart racing, but this is definitely one to get.
Oh, well, it's $40. Tell me, this is 3 in a row for Microids, yes?
3 in a row games that I've reviewed for Microids.
Have you not been paying attention to the games that we've been covering tonight?
Not at all.
No. Oh! I thought you meant my reviews, because I mean, like, I did do Smurfs Kart like a.
You're a poo head.
Anyway,
Smurfs 2. What's your verdict?
Absolutely, $40, totally worth it.
Cool.
Totally.
Keeping the Toad references in action. Frog Detective: The Entire Mystery. Totally. Developed and published by Worm Club. Released October 25th on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, and PS5 for $19.99. Also available as part of Xbox Game Pass. You're a detective and a frog, and it's time to solve thrilling mysteries. Aki, what is Frog Detective?
Okay, in these games, you play as Frog Detective.
What?
Yeah, he doesn't have a name. It's just, his name is just Frog Detective. That is it. You get called up by Supervisor, and that's just their name. Everyone, just their title is their name typically. It's very weird. And you basically have 3 different games combined into one in this. And each game is its own very short, very small case. These games are created for young children, so they're easy to beat for adults. If you don't hate yourself before then. You basically walk around as Frog Detective and you talk to people. They'll usually give you some information about the case you're on. There's usually a handful of like maybe 10-ish in each game. And they also need some help with something. Almost every last one of them needs help with something. And usually it's find me this object and I'll give you this other thing in return. That thing just happens to be something that someone else needs too. So you basically play dominoes by solving each individual person's problem until you've solved them all and can get whatever object or objects you need to continue to basically the end of the case. It's very hard to talk too much on these because each one of them is about 45 minutes to an hour-ish long to beat. So
are they all standalone or do they feed into each other?
Each case is its own individual thing. However, they are referenced very lightly in subsequent games. Like in the first one, it's the Haunted Island. It will be mentioned once or twice in the second game, but they don't really connect with each other. They are, as a story as a whole, they are all connected to each other, but you don't find out until the very end of the game how they're connected, and that connection isn't all that particularly important or worthwhile. Again, it's not going to be some complex web of secrets things. This is made for like 5 to 8-year-olds maybe. So it's not going to be
achievement
super
hunters.
If they want to do this, yes, it is for them too.
Well, it's had a following on PC Game Pass for a while.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and now it's finally made its way to consoles. What are your thoughts on it?
I don't think it's a bad game, but as an adult, it is kind of a mind-numbing game. But children are definitely probably going to like it. It's very bright. It's very colorful. The story is sometimes kind of funny. I'll admit, it got a couple chuckles out of me. I ain't gonna lie. So yeah, I think kids are really gonna like it. Achievement hunters are gonna have a very easy time with this. It's gonna take them like a couple hours at most to 100% this game. And yeah, and there's also a little achievement you can get into that basically allows you to pick checkpoints and levels to play, which makes getting achievements a lot easier. So, I mean,
Good.
They can do that too. So they don't have to even play through the entire game if they don't really want to. But they're so short, you might as well.
Yeah, so $20 sounds like a try it.
Yeah, I think it's worth it, especially if you have kids.
Cool. All right, one final game to talk about tonight is Car Detailing Simulator, developed by Games Incubator and GameFormatic, published by Ultimate Games, released October 26th on Xbox One, Series X and S for $15.99. You like watching or taking part in major car restorations and car detailing sim? You'll get a chance to start your adventure with running a detailing business on your own terms. Surprise the market with remarkable metamorphoses, down at heel cars. I've never heard down at heel cars, but okay. Accept orders and grow your own business. Jacob, tell us about your car detailing simulator business. Did you expand, and are you handling down at heel cars?
Hold on. I'm trying to figure out whether my dog is trying to throw up. Hold on.
So about that game.
So glad I did the intro just to be met with my dog's throwing up, BRB.
Like I don't understand what the point is even to go look. Either it's vomiting, in which case it's too late, or it's about the vomit, in which case
Well,
it's going to.
Well, my wife just took the dog out, so hopefully he was just scrounging and I misread the noises that he was making.
so tell us about Car Detailing Sim.
We're editing this part out, right?
No.
Nope. Okay. So so car detailing sim. I'm not gonna lie, like part of the fun of doing this show is just like Joe just comes to me and is like, yeah, you want to do this sim game? And it's like the most random stuff ever. Like, like
You're officially the sim guy, by the way. Like when they come in, they're yours now.
That's unfortunate, because most of them are terrible. I mean, some of them have decent gameplay.
That's why they're yours.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, and so I was just like, all right, yeah, because honestly, up on TikTok, and I've shared this with Aki, I love watching those videos of like the guys doing like the deep clean of like the car interiors. Like they take out the seat. What's up? Oh, sorry. Hold on.
Looks like you're gonna have some editing to do.
There's
today,
10
Joe.
minutes left in the show. Come on. Just want to end this.
All right. Sorry about that. So
Last game, Jacob. Let's do this. We could do this. I believe in you.
Yeah, I know. I know we can finish this review. All right. So, crud. Where did I leave off at? I'm sorry. I had a dog that looked like he was going to throw up. I lost my place. What was I talking about? All right, whatever.
I'm not helping
Screw
you.
it. We'll do it.
I'm not helping
We'll
you.
do it live. All right. So anyway, so I like watching like those detailing and cleaning of like the interiors and stuff like that. And so with this one, I was just like, all right, yeah, sure, whatever. Like it's probably just going to be some crappy game. And so the plot of the game is that, you are a successful like MVP of like, this car detailing place. But then something happens and like it closes and you have to start up your own business. And so early on, you only have like so many tools. You can only take on so many jobs. And as your reputation grows, and of course, as your pocketbook grows too, you're going to be able to buy different tools, better tools that are going to be able to get the stuff done, in much quicker time, or it'll help you take on certain jobs. And yeah, it's just, you're pretty much just working on one car at a time. And yeah, you take it like it also all depends on like what the person wants you to do. Like you might have a job where they don't want you to like vacuum the car, or like they don't want you to wash the car. They just want the windows and the wheels taken care of for whatever reason. And so you have to follow like what the mission specifically wants. And then you get graded on how well of a job you do. And I'm not going to lie, like I was expecting this game to be pretty crap, and it's not. I'm always like, I always feel so weird because like there's been a couple of these this fall where all of a sudden, like, I'm just like, oh yeah, it's going to be like some crap simulator game. And then it's just like, oh, this is actually playable? Like, oh, how strange.
Fun in a video game? What job am I doing?
Yeah, right? Like, it's kind of weird. And, and so, you use a controller, which at first it's a little, like the setup for how, like, you have to select all the menus is a little weird, but like once you get used to it, like you're off to the races anyway. And my only real complaint with the controls is that like the game doesn't let you like lie down on the floor. Like you're allowed to crouch, but you can't like lie down to get to like extra like super difficult areas to reach. And and so that can get kind of frustrating. And plus, like, there is like a button for you to stand on your tippy toes so you can get across like the roof of the car too. And moving the tools around as you're doing it, like I've been playing this for a week now and I still don't quite feel like I have the hang of it. And I don't know if it's just maybe like the game just needs like some more tweaking, or maybe this is a game that's better with a keyboard and mouse. I don't know. But honestly, like it's a fairly straightforward simulator game. It holds your hand with the tutorials. It even has tutorials that will like explain this is what you need to do for this mission. Like, and if you can't figure it out beyond that, like there's really no help for you. But yeah, like I'm having a blast. It's a pretty chill game. I was pleasantly surprised.
Well, it clocks in at $16. What are your thoughts on it?
$16 is amazing for this game. Yes. Like, I was figuring it was like minimum like 25, 30. 16? Yeah, definitely. As I said, like the controls still need some tweaks to it, but otherwise, like it's a pretty solid sim game. I'm enjoying it. Like Very I'm cool. Keeping this on my Xbox, and I'm gonna try to 1K it.
Very cool. Also, did you see that Ultimate Games has an Ultimate Games bundle?
No, I didn't.
It is $289.
Oh,
is this
Jesus.
like that? Is this like that Chemco bundle?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 17, 18, 19, 20, good lord, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. 31 games for $289.
Not terrible.
Including this one.
That's not a bad deal. I mean, I'd want to look over the list.
$8 a game.
Yeah, I don't know how much it averages out to, and if it, like, if the total cost exceeds what they're asking. Like, I can't math, but if you're
that
interested
might be worth
in Ultimate Games, they cover and pretty much all of their sims. There's some stuff in there.
There is indeed some stuff.
I need the pull of Jacob. We need to wrap up, yo.
Why? Do you have to poop?
Said I had the pull of Jacob, yes.
All right, so we're done with this episode. We made it through another one. Thanks to you two for being here, hanging out, and putting up with your shit.
Yeah.
Thanks to Pernell and Bree for being here doing their things. Music. We're going to play something fun this episode. Our good friend Chris Huber, one of the original hosts of the show, did a Gitaroo Man cover for me, and we're going to check that out. So, anyone have any final words to end the show?
Everyone go pull a Jacob.
Okay, any actual good words to end the show? We're both awful.